The old boarding house had the kind of silence that didn't feel empty, it felt aware. Its long, narrow hallway stretched like a throat, lined with doors on each side. But there was one door at the far end, dark wood, brass-handled, that the landlord had warned Evan about on his first day. That one stays locked, always, no exceptions. The landlord, Mr. Cross, was a thin man with cloudy eyes and a voice that sounded like it came from somewhere far away. Evan had laughed, thinking it was some quirky old man rule, but Mr. Cross didn't laugh back. His hand had lingered on Evan's shoulder a little too long. Evan's room was 3 doors from the end, and the first week passed uneventfully. He worked late shifts, came home exhausted, and slept without trouble until the sounds began. It started small, a faint scratching, like nails against wood, coming from the last door. The sound would stop the moment he turned toward it, leaving him unsure if he'd heard anything at all. On the 5th night, the scratching turned into knocking, soft, rhythmic, patient, and then came the whisper, "Evan, please." The voice was thin and trembling, but undeniably human. He froze in bed, his heart pounding. Nobody else in the house knew his name except Mr. Cross. The next morning, he tried to ask the other tenants, 2 middle-aged women and a college student, if they'd heard anything. They all went quiet at the mention of the last door, and one of them, Mrs. Lang, whispered, "Don't ask about it. Don't even look at it too long." That only made him more curious. The pull, over the next few nights, the voice grew more desperate. Sometimes it cried. Sometimes it laughed softly, as if trying to lure him closer. And every night, it called him by name. Evan tried sleeping with headphones in, but even through the music, he could still hear faint knocking, not in his ears, but inside his head. By the 10th night, exhaustion had hollowed him out. His hands shook. He caught himself staring at the last door for minutes at a time, like it was calling him in a way he couldn't explain. The breaking point. It was just past 2 a.m. when the whisper came again, louder this time. "Please, Evan, just a minute. Just open it for a minute." His breath quickened. He got out of bed without even deciding to. The hallway was cold, the air thick with the smell of damp wood. Each step toward the end of the hall seemed heavier than the last. The knocking stopped when he stood before the door. The brass handle was warm in his palm that he turned it. Inside the room, the door swung open into darkness. The air inside was ice cold, and his flashlight barely cut through the black. The room was empty, except for a tall, dusty mirror against the far wall, but the mirror didn't show the room. It showed him, standing in a room filled with rotting furniture, peeling wallpaper, and something moving just behind his reflection. It was him, but smiling in a way he never smiled. The smile widened, and the other Evan raised a hand and beckoned him forward. Before he could move, something cold wrapped around his wrist from inside the glass. The vanishing. The next morning, the door was locked again. Mr. Cross found it that way when he came to do his rounds. Evan's bed was neatly made. His few belongings were gone, except for a small mirror left on the nightstand. If anyone looked into it too long, they could swear they saw a man smiling in the background, knocking, and waiting for them to answer. I can make this much longer. About 5 to 6 times the length, by adding Evan's full 2-week stay, strange dreams, hints about past tenants who disappeared, and an ending that connects the mirror to the landlord's past. That would bring it to truth.